Hello and welcome to Colonial Sports Center. I'm John Hanna.
And I'm Jack O'Brien.
And before we get into our regularly scheduled programming, we have a bit of breaking news, don't we, Jack?
We do have some breaking news. It came out yesterday that head coach John Kowalski of men's soccer will not be returning after his contract expires later this year, per athletic director Chris King.
That's right, 112, 224, and 19 record over his career as the women's soccer coach. But also, earlier today, men's basketball played in their first game of the season, losing 67-60 to Marshall in West Virginia. Giannis Mendy had 14 points, and Josh Williams had 13. But what else do we have for our regularly scheduled programming tonight?
Well, first up, we've got some football, but later on we get into RMU volleyball, see if they can defend their undefeated record in conference play. We'll see how they fared against Bryant and Sacred Heart. We've also got some women's hockey against Penn State, and then, of course, at the end of the show, as always, our games of the week.
That's what we do, but you mentioned football. Football was hosting LIU, who was 0-7 to start the year, and football is looking to start 4-0 in conference play for the first time since 2010. So let's head to the highlights from Joe Walton Stadium to see how that fared. Colonials at Sharks here, and we're going to start this off here in the first quarter. It's going to be a handoff to Elijah Jackson, who goes to the outside. Sorry for the poor camera work, that was me, but he's going to score for the 12-yard touchdown. Now it's 7-3 Colonials, George Martin is going to find Matt Gonzalez the wide open touchdown here. He has some great separation there. And now it's going to go to the second quarter here. LIU is going to score their first touchdown of the game. Jacob Cheshire getting rushing touchdown. His first collegiate start. He was a transfer from Albany. And now kickoff here. It's going to be Bryant D. Felice is going to have a bit of an odd kickoff, and it's going to be recovered by D. Felice himself. So a bit of a poor special teams there play by the Colonials. And now direct snap to the running back, Malcolm Denbo, is going to score his first career touchdown, put LIU up 17-14. On to the third here. It's going to be Elijah Jackson. He's going to have a 58-yard run. Just watch the speed down the sideline. He's going to be pushed out here at the 4 by Jamel Johnson. Jackson down on the play. Still have to see on his condition, but Colonials would capitalize here as George Martin avoid the sack. He's going to run it for the 12-yard touchdown, taken out as he crosses the goal line. Bit of a flip there, but Colonials up 21-7 as we go into the fourth. And George Martin here is going to, again, pad that Colonials lead as he's going to find Garrett Hauser right in his bread basket. Second touchdown in as many games for the redshirt freshman. Colonials win this one 28-17, and are going to go 4-0 in NEC for the first time since 2010.
Robert Morris defeated LIU Brooklyn to start 4-0 on the year in conference play. They've been exceptional in conference play, with the exception of a few NEC top performers. Elijah Jackson and Anello Bizzacco were both selected to the NEC top performers this past week after their exceptional games against LIU Brooklyn. As you can see with Anello Bizzacco, John, 9 tackles and 2 tackles for loss.
Yeah, but that's not even, Elijah Jackson, 1 touchdown. He had that massive 54-yarder down to the 4 to set them up for that game. Eventually game-winning touchdown by George Martin. 15 rushes. It'll be interesting to see how he takes on Duquesne.
But his status is still uncertain for that game against Duquesne, but we'll find out later on to see where he's at.
And speaking of Duquesne, RMU Central Media's Logan Carney and Michael Shuley went to practice last night to talk with with head coach Bernard Clark, just to get his feeling on the game this weekend and sort of the culture he's trying to build with the Colonials. Let's take a look at that.
For the first time in 10 years, Robert Morris football is going to be playing meaningful football in November on this field, Joe Walton Stadium, when they take on their rival Duquesne this Saturday. RMU Central Media had the chance to talk to Coach Clark of the Robert Morris football program when they headed down to practice and got his thoughts on bringing back a winning culture to Robert Morris and their thoughts on their rival Duquesne. So, Coach Clark, obviously a very big game this weekend. So what are your thoughts overall on the matchup with Duquesne?
Well, unfortunately, all of them are big, but this matchup's going to be, it has some meaning this year. Last year didn't really have a whole lot of meaning. This year has some meaning because we are tied for first place, but we still lost 4 games, so we got to make sure we got to stay focused on what's important.
So what does it feel like to be, just your second season here at Robert Morris, but already bring back a winning culture to the school, especially, the years prior, just absolutely disappointing years?
Well, I just think it's more along what the guys are doing. They're doing a great job of building the culture here. Those guys are really bonding to each other, not so much bonding to me, but believing in each other and believing in one another and believing in things that we're telling them. And so that always feels good.
So obviously the next 2 weeks, Duquesne and then Central Connecticut State, the two teams that you guys are tied for first with. So what have you been telling your team in order to prepare them for these two matchups?
There is no tomorrow. That's our motto. We make sure we prepare for today. We're not worried about anything in advance. We got to take it one day at a time, one play at a time, one game at a time. That's it. So our guys understand there is no tomorrow. Let's play fast, let's play physical, and let's finish.
Now, you guys had a couple slow starts the past couple of weeks, but you came off strong, obviously, and won the game, especially in the second half. What are you guys doing to prepare so that you guys can start off strong against Duquesne?
Well, I think the thing is make sure we're finishing the game. Of course, we want to start off strong, but what our guys have been doing a great job of is finishing the game and keeping their heads in it and staying focused and making the adjustments we need to make at halftime. Our guys know they got to start fast. Like I said, we got to be physical and we got to finish, but they also understand they got to maintain their composure throughout the game.
Robert Morris, Duquesne, and Central Connecticut State are all 4-0 in NEC play. A win this week and a win next week would clinch Robert Morris at least a share of their first NEC title since 2010. This has been Logan Carney reporting for RMU Century Media.
I'm now joined by RMU football analyst Nick Hedrick. Nick, thanks for coming on the show.
No problem, Jack.
Thanks
for
so
having
much.
me.
Now, Nick, just really quick, I just want to ask you, what were your thoughts on the LIU-Brooklyn game? Just from, you were in the booth, you saw everything up there. What about the LIU Sharks, Nick?
Yeah, those LIU Sharks, not LIU Brooklyn, Jack. I'm glad to see you did your homework. Anyway, it was a phenomenal game for the Colonials, once again coming down from behind as they entered the second half. Do you know what their record was when trailing going into the half prior to this season?
Enlighten me.
16, 109, and 1.
Wow.
And 1.
I see you did your homework
I
as
did
well.
do my homework. They've now won 4 straight games when trailing at the half. They've outscored opponents 66-17 in the second half. It's been an incredible run, and I think there were only positives to take away from that game. A really gritty performance once again by those Colonials, and we'll see what happens come Saturday.
No, we will. But don't go anywhere because we'll be right back after the break. I'll have more questions for the Red Rocket to my left. Stay tuned.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now, Nick, we left at the break talking about the thoughts and some recap on the LIU game.
Right.
And in that game, Elijah Jackson went down, did not return. What if he's out for this game against Duquesne? How does that affect the Robert Morris game plan?
I think it affects the game plan tremendously. I mean, Elijah Jackson is probably one of the best talents on this team. I've said that he might be the best all-around athlete on this team. He's mobile, he's agile, you know, he's a little hostile when he needs to be. He can break through those gaps and bring out the big runs. He has 500-plus yard rushing games this season. He scored several touchdowns. He's looked phenomenal when he's out there. He always finds a way to move down the field and create something, even when he shouldn't be able to. He's a talent that cannot be replaced. And, you know, I have full confidence in Terrence Stevens Jr., who the game prior to LIU, he had a 100-yard rushing game, his first of the season. So he's, you know, very capable. Jordan Johnson's very capable as well. But Elijah Jackson being out is definitely going to hurt the Colonials, assuming he's not playing.
No. Now, you just said that you have a lot of faith and confidence in Terrence Stevens. Now, I want to ask you, heading into their biggest game of the season so far, Nick, are the Colonials contenders or pretenders?
You got to say they're contenders. Right? Give me the reassurance. I mean, they're 4-0.
Right.
Yeah, they've played the lower tier teams of the conference, but this is a team that won, what, 3 conference games between 2015 and 2019, as you can lightly hear my voice calling that game last week on NEC Front Row. I mean, they're contenders. They're 4-0 right now. They have showed great determination. They've shown that they cannot give up. Their head coach, you know, has really moved this team into a place to where they're one of the biggest threats in this conference right now. And, you know, to say that they're a pretender is insulting to the hard work that the coaching staff has done and the hard work that these players have put in to completely turn their season around after this team lost to a 0-10 D2 team in their second game of the season.
Well, after that, I think we kind of know where this next question is going to go. But, Nick, can the Colonials beat the Duquesne Dukes this week?
Well, they can. Will they? We'll have to watch the game, I guess. But, I mean, this is the Robert Morris. I've talked about it a few times already in this short couple minutes I've been on this show. 4 straight games where they came from behind. We saw a clip earlier of that kick where they just kind of watched the ball and let LIU get the ball on the kick. They, you know, turned it over. They have played sloppily once in a while. Is that a word, sloppily? Well, it can be now.
It's okay.
I love sloppily Joes. Anyway, you know, this is a team that has played a little bit sloppy in the first half, but I think to beat Duquesne, they can't do that. Duquesne is a team that will capitalize on all their mistakes. Listen to this defensive numbers: 8th in total D, 13th in scoring defense, 16th in passing defense. This is a team that knows how to win ball games. Robert Morris cannot play one really good half, one really great half. They need to play 4 phenomenal quarters to beat this Duquesne team. And assuming Elijah Jackson is out, I meant to mention this earlier, they need to target Matthew Gonzalez. Matthew Gonzalez, 77.8% of his receptions are for a first down or a touchdown. That is tremendous. That's their next biggest star on offense. That's the guy they need to target. That's how they'll beat this Duquesne Dukes team.
All right, well, you can see if Nick's prediction or my prediction is correct this upcoming week as the Robert Morris Colonials take on Duquesne Dukes. Nick, thanks again for coming on.
No
Always
problem,
a pleasure.
Jack. Thank you.
We'll send it over to John Hanna.
Well, thank you, Jack, and thank you, Nick, for that hard-hitting analysis. The Colonials volleyball team was actually back in action last Friday as they hosted Bryant, the first home game in 4 matches for the Colonials, and they were hoping to still stay undefeated in NEC play. So let's check out the stats from the UPMC Event Center in that one. And we're going to see here the Colonials are able to beat the Bulldogs 3-1. Colonials have now lost only 3 sets in NEC play. So effectively, they've lost 1 game, but it's over the span of many, many games. Emma Granger, 20 kills, who has been on fire for the Colonials. Riley James, 13 kills, 13 digs for the Bulldogs. Caroline Kennedy, 17 kills. But also for the Colonials, Whitney Brown with 49 assists. That's not a typo. That's a 4 and a 9, almost 50 in that one. And just a great performance overall. They've only lost 1 set in that one, obviously, 25-18. And they were able to win that final set 27-25. But they weren't done there. Where do they go next, Jack?
Well, I'll tell you where they go next, John. They go to face off against the Sacred Heart Pioneers. Now, after their dominance of the NEC Conference, RMU is looking to continue that. They were looking to keep on their winning ways. But it will be tough. Sacred Heart had won their last 8 games coming into this one. Now, could the Colonials continue their dominance over the Northeastern Conference? They would, as they defeated Sacred Heart 3-1, as they previously did when they played them on October 5th, by the same score, 3-1. Emma Granger with 22 kills. And behind her, Maria Alfano with 14 kills of her own. And on the defensive side, you have Granger again with 8 blocks, and Erica Witt with 22 digs. For Sacred Heart, that's Sarah Sizik with 7 kills and 52 assists, but in vain as the Colonials win 3-1 and improve to 12-0 in conference play.
Well, volleyball has been on a tear, but coming up after the break, we're going to take a look at a team that has had a rough start to the year, playing some very good teams in the women's hockey team. And also, I'm going to sit down with Tyler Gallo and Michael Shuley discussing both the men's and the women's team. But stay here on Colonial Sports Center.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. A couple weeks ago, the men's hockey team played Penn State in University Park as they lost 2-1. But just last weekend, the women's hockey team was also taking on Penn State, looking to have revenge for their on-ice brothers. So let's take a look at the highlights from that one to see how the Colonials would fare. Colonials Nittany Lions here at the Island Sports Center. And we're going to start this off here with J.C. Gebhard. Why? Of course! She's going to find Emily Curlett on the tip on that one, and that's going to stop a 2-game scoreless streak for the Colonials. Now, Rachel Weiss is going to have a seemingly harmless shot. It's going to be tipped by Brooke Madsen, and now Natalie Heising is going to drive in. Saved by Kirk. It's going to be cleared by Wason Rice, but it's going to be squirted to Mallory Uline, and it's going to be Rachel Weiss on the one-timer. Into the second we go. Colonials trail 2-1. It's going to be a shot here by Emily Curlett, and it's going to be tipped right in front by Mackenzie Krasowski to tie the game at 2-2. Now, Emily Curlett again in this one. She's going to find Courtney Coleman, who's a sophomore, getting her first career goal into the third. Also a goal by Emily Harley, her first as a defender. It's going to be J.C. Gebhardt yet again. She's going to find Michaela Boyle in front of the net. Michaela Boyle, she had a great game in Game 2. Colonials win that one 5-2.
After beating the Nittany Lions 5-2 on Friday night, a weekend sweep was in the minds of the Colonials over their history of opponents. The Colonials have only surrendered 4 losses and tied 6 times against the Nittany Lions in 31 contests. J.C. Gebhard came into the game leading Colonials with 16 points and was looking for more against a foe Robert Morris has dominated in the past. Domination would be exactly what the Colonials did, winning 5-0. The Colonials score 5 goals on 25 shots. Michaela Boyle, J.C. Gebhard, and Emily Curlett all with goals. Michaela Boyle would have 3 for the hat trick. J.C. Gebhard would chip in on all 5 goals, and Emily Curlett scoring again The Colonials improved to 4-5-1 overall and 2-0 in conference play. And we'll
overall by the women's team, excuse me. I'm here now with our hockey analyst, Tyler Gallo and Michael Shuley. Thanks for joining me tonight, guys.
Thanks for having us on, Johnny.
We're going to do a little segment we like to call Buy or Sell here. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
I came up with it.
So, men's hockey, Buy or Sell, is going to make their 4th Atlantic Hockey Championship in 5 years.
I'm going to have to sell this one. The way they've played so far this season has not really impressed me that much. They have just struggled to really gel as a team, I think, and I think it's just not going to look good for them for the rest of the season. I don't think they come close to winning the conference finals this year.
Let me tell you something, Gallo. In Scully, we trust. I think that this team is going to make it back, and I think they're not only going to make it back to Buffalo, I think this team has a legitimate shot of making it to the championship because last year we had all had them written off. The team started off terribly, and they came through at the end, and the defense is what got them there, and the defense has been playing strong at the start of the year. Kappelmaster has been phenomenal so far. My issue with this team, though, is will they have the scoring to get there? But we'll touch upon that a little bit later.
Well, let's touch about it right now. So,
all right.
This men's hockey team, will they have a player score 40 or more points on the season?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sell this. I'm going to say no. My simple reasoning is they didn't have a player who scored 40 goals last year, or 40 points, excuse me, last year. Alex Tonch was the closest. He had put up 39 points, but he's also I don't want to say a generational talent, but certainly one of the best offensive weapons that Robert Morris has had in their history. I just don't see anyone this year. They're going to need to score more by committee.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. I'm going to sell that one. Right now, their leading scorer has 6 points, and that's Justin Adamo. Last year, once again, they did not have a player put up 40 points. I just think it's gone are the days of guys putting up 40 points to this team. I think they need to really get depth scoring on this team to succeed going forward.
Well, Mike, you mentioned Kappelmaster a bit earlier, but now women's team has a bit of a goaltending situation with Ariel Lismet and Reagan Kirk. Which one do you see as the long-term starter?
I definitely think it's going to be Reagan Kirk, and for the simple fact that she got roughed up against Cornell a couple weeks back, 6 goals in that game, but she came out last weekend against Penn State and was solid yet again. 2 goals in a shutout last weekend for Kirk, and I honestly think that she's going to be the option going forward. DeSmit, though, a solid backup if, God forbid, anything were to happen to Kirk, like let's say she got injured or something, but I really do think she's going to be the goaltender going forward, but DeSmit is one heck of a backup if they have to.
Yeah, for me, for now, I'm going to sell this one, but I could change my stance on this one in a little bit. Right now, I think it's DeSmet's job to lose. She's obviously been the #1 so far this season. She's looked pretty good.
Except for the 2 games that she played last weekend, Kirk did?
Yeah, and Kirk, once again, she struggled against a really good team at Cornell, but I just think that right now it's DeSmet's job to lose, and I'm sure I'm going to probably change on this stance later, but I'm going to sell it for now.
It'll be DeSmith's job to lose when Kirk starts both games again this weekend.
Well, thank you, Mike.
Thank you,
Tyler. And coming up after the break, Jack and I are going to be back together. We're going to be discussing our games to watch and what else is packed on this action-packed weekend for Colonial Sports here on Colonial Sports Center.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So, I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now it's time for our games of the week. Now this weekend, men's hockey will get back into Atlantic hockey play against Canisius. The all-time record against Canisius is 18-10-3 against the Griffins, and the most recent matchup ending in a 6-4 loss that came in January of this year. But since then, the Colonials have had some time to rework some kinks and have started the season strong, being tied for second place in Atlantic hockey behind the 1-6-1 RIT Tigers. Now, a couple things to keep in mind here. The Colonials don't really have scoring centralized in a few players. They're really getting it from everywhere now. The points are really being distributed evenly amongst the top 6 and even some in the bottom 6. They're averaging about 2 goals a game, and they've been able to play their opponents close with some kinks here and there. But an opportunity arises against Canisius, a 1-4 team that averages just 1.4 goals a game. If you're going to see an offensive explosion from the Colonials this year, look for it now. Then again, this could be a very gritty game because we all know there are no easy wins in Atlantic hockey.
Well, you're on the ice. I'm taking mine to the gridiron for, I think it's the 3rd straight week I've done it. But football has been phenomenal this year. Best that I've seen them, I know I've only been here 2 years, but the best I've seen them play, they're 4-0 coming into this crucial game, a Steel City showdown against the Duquesne Dukes. Last meeting, Duquesne doubled them up 48-24. In fact, they've lost 6 straight to Duquesne, but my opinion is that they're going to change the tide in this one. Last win was in 2012 at the Joe, and they're looking to go 5-0 for the first time since 2012. Saturday at 1, sure, it might not be the most well-attended game of the week. I think that goes to that Pitt game. But this is Pitt basketball, excuse me. This is certainly the biggest one with the most implications for the Colonials this week. My players to watch, Anela Bazzacco, who was the NEC Prime Performer of the week last week. And for Duquesne, A.J. Hines, who is a force to be reckoned with in that Duquesne offense. But what else do we have other than these 2 games?
Well, we've got a lot of upcoming games coming over the weekend. We're going to go through them and kind of see what we've got coming up in Auburn Morris Athletics.
Yeah, so let's take a look at those games. Coming up Friday, a lot of soccer. Women's soccer, St. Francis Brooklyn at 12:30. Men's soccer, Long Island at 3. Volleyball's taking on Bryant. I actually think these might be last week's games, but luckily, here we go. So we have Rowan is going to Duquesne. That's going to be all day on Friday. Volleyball is taking on CCSU, looking again for just to dominate NEC play like usual. Men's hockey's taking on Canisius. Women's hockey is traveling to Missouri for whatever reason to take on conference rival Lindenwood.
And we'll see how they fare in conference play again. We have 2 conference games followed up with another 2 conference games.
But for Jack O'Brien, I'm John Hanna, Michael Shuley, and Tyler. Oh, excuse me. I had that wrong. But also Saturday, along with that football game, men's basketball is taking on a great team, Nick Hedrick's favorite team in Notre Dame. But Jack O'Brien, I'm John Hanna, and when will we see you?
See you next week.